Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and it's time for an update on my main white sapotes before they go inside for the winter. Obviously by the time you watch this video they'll already be in the kitchen, but in moving them around today I have had quite an exciting discovery, to be honest, which is really good news for me, which I shall go into in a minute. I'm not featuring the small, I've got 2 or 3 small seedlings which were sown, well, either sown this year or last year I think, yeah, and they're only about 6-8 inches tall, so not worth featuring, but I will feature these 4. The 2 on the right are from ones that I've previously grown, that I did grow from seed a couple of years ago, and I grew them with the intention of being able to graft onto them. Now the one on the right is still a bog standard seedling. I haven't grafted onto it. It's been savaged by snails and slugs. They absolutely love the plants, but of course that won't be a problem once they're indoors because they won't be able to get to them. But the reason I'm growing that one is obviously I'm hoping to be able to graft a name variety onto it, and I may be able to swap, as I've got 2 name varieties. I've got a Wilson and a McDill. Obviously I'm hoping that one of my subscribers, I know at least one's got, I think, a pike, and I know that Namala's brought in some signs that she'll be attempting to grow on and get into larger plants. So obviously I'm hoping that I'll simply be able to swap a Wilson and a McDill scion with a pike or a Subel or one of the other, or Vernon or one of the other varieties. So that's why I'm keeping that rootstock on the right hopefully healthy, and that's why I'm still growing on the other seedlings. Now this one here was the sister seedling that you can see from the stem thickness about the same. I grow them at the same time, but this one I've already grafted with my own McDill. I put it on a graft here which has taken well, and it's now got, I think that's where I'll put the wherever it is I'll put the graft. It's not easy to see, but yeah, I'm sure that's where the graft is. I can see the V. So I grafted McDill onto it. I've lost a couple of shoots off it this summer because I come out and find the stems bent over where the snails have chewed through half the stem, which is annoying, but it has, however, still got 3 shoots on it, and obviously that's off a mature flowering size plant, so I shall grow that on and we'll probably see flowers and fruits on that. Now the one that really excited me, because I've always been a bit unsure about this plant, this was tucked away well behind amongst a load of other tropicals, and I basically haven't checked it this summer at all. This is a Wilson that I got from Canarius that had a large amount of damaged upper stem when I got it, and I didn't know if I'd got a plant where the graft section had died and I'd ended up with an ungrafted rootstock. However, it's now clear to me that this must have been an air layer, grown from an air layer, because what I've found having pulled it out is that it's covered in flower buds. Now unfortunately, and this is on loads of the stems, look, there's some there, there's some on this stem here, and there's some on this stem here. Now importantly, proof that it must have been an air layer, this stem here has actually come from, well, below ground on the main stem, and yet it's got flowers all over it. So this must have been, they never say at Canarius, sometimes they specify they're grafted, but otherwise they don't tell you if they're seedlings, cuttings or air layered. But the fact that this is flowering on all of its stems all the way down the trunk, it's flowering on that small side shoot as well, so it is clearly an air layered plant. So I've definitely got a Wilson, because there's no way that a seedling would be flowering at this age on suckers that have come up from the rootstocks. I'm going to leave these suckers obviously because they're fruiting. Of course, because I wasn't aware that it was flowering, it's been sitting behind the other plants, and unfortunately I can see that most of the flowers have been eaten by snails. There's slime trails all over the plant, and obviously for them the flowers must be particularly tasty and young. So I'm not going to see fruit set on it, I don't think, although it will probably carry on flowering over winter, as these are quite prolific once they do get to a flowering size. So that's very exciting news for me, because I now know I've got the name variety, and I may therefore, I might consider grafting a scion off the Wilson onto the one of my seedlings at some stage. But it's not a bad size, and of course next to it I've got my grafted McDill, which I repotted at the beginning of the summer, and it got, so for whatever reason, it suffered transplant shock and dropped every leaf and flower bud on it, and it had embryo fruits, and the whole lot dropped off. But the plant is now obviously fully recovered, and come surging back into fabulous health. I'm going to spray this well, because it has got some scale insects on it in places. These white sapotes are absolute magnets for scale insects, but this one normally, from my experience in my kitchen, starts flowering in winter, December, January, and as I've now put it into a much bigger pot, and it'll have a much better root ball, and I better keep it well fed, I'm obviously hoping to get some edible sized fruits off it next year, even though it's in a container. Sadly not one you could plant outside the garden. They're just not going to be hardy enough. They're probably close to being as hardy as citrus, which they're related to, but it just wouldn't be worth risking putting an extremely valuable plant like this outside. I mean, this size grafted white sapote is probably sort of 150, 200 pounds worth of plant, and you just wouldn't want to risk it, because you have to pay 40 or 50 pounds sometimes for just a tiny little grafted one. And obviously I've been growing this for about a good 4 or 5 years now. It's a lot of time and effort got into it, but hopefully it will flower over winter. Obviously the Wilson's got flowers on it, so they're my 4 white sapotes worth videoing. I'm pleased with their progress. I'm going to spray them right now with just a mild cocktail that I hope will get rid of any young scale insect, and also if there's any little tiny snails that I missed, might get rid of those as well. So thanks for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up. Obviously this video is one well worth sharing. Please subscribe to my channel, and remember to click on the bell if you'd like to know when new videos come out. I'll see you all soon. Brett out for now.